Hi, I'm Una. You're very welcome to my channel. I was having trouble recently with some dies not cutting properly, and I discovered that I had the solution in a drawer for the last 10 years. The die set I was using was a Build a Scene die, vintage hot air balloon from Xcut, a Docrafts product, and it cuts 2 balloons and then all the bits and pieces to decorate the balloons and cut a sky scene. And this is the die that cuts the netting or the web that's around the balloon. And look at this. This is a crafter's nightmare. This is not what you want. Not only was it difficult to get out of the die, but the paper was weakened. This is Neenah Desert Storm. And I was able to use it in the end, but I discovered that I had a product that would solve it for me. Now, I did try turning the sandwich in my Gemini Junior upside down to see would that improve the situation, but it was worse. So I found this quick release foam, and I thought maybe that'd solve it. So let's see what happened. There's a foamy side and a paper side covering the sticky on the back, and then I made up the sandwich, the cutting sandwich for my Gemini Junior, and I cut out the die. I don't want to waste any of this, so I just cut out the shape of the die, put the backing paper down on my plate, then the cutting die, cutting side up, and then the sticky side of the product down. And the reason you put down the backing paper is it prevents the product from sticking to your cutting plate, or your, in this case, magnetic shim. So then I put the cutting plate on top, went to the Gemini Junior with it, and this is how it comes out. Now you can discard the backing paper at this stage and pull away all the sticky excess, and it's ready to use. So I made up the sandwich again for cutting a die using Neenah Desert Storm again. And look at this. Oh, a crafter's dream. The bits are coming out really easily now, and the paper is in really good condition. It's absolutely perfect. And look, all the small bits pop out. No problem at all. So, perfect solution. I used the foam again many times while I was making this card. Lots of the pieces of the die had the bits sticking in them. So I gave myself pencil marks for my colouring, and now I'm going to put on some music and let you listen to that while I am doing the colouring. The dies cut out lots of pieces to decorate the balloon. That one cut perfectly without having to use any quick release foam. And that's a little piece too for the ballast bags that hang from the basket of the balloon. I did use the quick release foam on that piece there, and it worked beautifully after I used the quick release foam. So it's time to adhere all the bits and pieces together, and again I'm using the Hi-Tack Fast Tack glue in that Gina K bottle. There are lots of little fiddly bits to put on the balloon, but they weren't difficult to assemble. I don't know if you've ever used these Build a Scene dies, but they're great fun. I own several. I bought them years ago when they were selling them off in my local hobby shop at half price. I've got a pirate ship and a couple of others. Like I say, they're great fun. and you end up with a really nice piece. And because it's a vintage balloon, there's that extra piece for the top. I must use this balloon without the decoration, the vintage decoration, to make some modern day balloons. So that's looking nice. Now the same thing happened with the other balloon. Look how I've weakened the paper by having to pull it out of the die. And so I used the quick release foam to do it again, and just look at how easily it comes out, and it embossed beautifully as well. See how the two compare? So I colour using my Specurum Noirs. I always consult that swatch to see what colours I'm going to use. I took a sticky note to hold all those bits together, to hold the bits inside, and then taking a circle die that I found matched the size of the balloon, I traced out a piece of stick-it adhesive and stuck it on the back. Now what I didn't notice was there was vellum stuck to that piece of stick-it, so I wasn't actually able to use it as a sticky piece in the end, but not matter, it held the little pieces in the die beautifully. And this embossing folder I absolutely love. I use it on many, many cards. I love the impression it gives. And so I just decide how I'm going to assemble my scene. Now you'd probably think I'm daft. I decided I'd add these little swirly bits that I think are meant to look like wind or a breeze. And I decided to cut them out of vellum. I'm not sure that I'd do it every time, but I did think it added a little something extra to the card. So I cut out some spare bits that I have. I always keep them in the envelope. I never waste an expensive product like that. And I used a stylus to adhere them to the card. You do have to, anything you stick with a stick-it adhesive, you do have to press it down firmly. The stylus was perfect for pressing down these bits. I'm not sure that you can see just how nice they are. To give some dimension to the back of the balloons, I put the spare one that I cut out earlier onto the back of the small balloon, and then cut out some circles and adhered those to the back of the large balloon. Adhered down the small balloon and then realised I hadn't put any dimensional bits onto the top of the balloon. So I put that right, and then it's ready to be put into place on the card. I used that silvery white paper to make the birds. I tried them in black first, but they were a bit spooky looking. The sentiment is a happy birthday sentiment, a very inexpensive one I bought in my local shop. I used the anti-static bag to prepare the paper, and using Versamark ink, I then, because that's a sticky embossing ink, I was able to apply liquid platinum from Ranger. It's a nice gold. It's not a very bright gold. And that's what I wanted for this card. So I heated that up until it was smooth and melted and shiny, and used a Nellie die, a stitched oval, to cut it out. And then I added some backing bits to that sentiment to give it some dimension. And then I layered up some birds. I used 3 layers, adhered that to the card. And then I was done. Really pleased with the outcome. I love the sentiment. I like the dimension on the bird. I like the way everything is raised up nicely on the card, but not too much. And then that folder gives the inside of the card a lovely finish too. You'll see some videos being shown here that you might like to watch as well. I would love if you would subscribe to my channel, and if you'd leave me a comment down below, I'd love to talk to you. Do take care of yourself. These are strange times. All the best for now. Bye.